Okay, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Upper Hand Fantasy Podcast. Faraz Zach here to answer your Week 15 start sit questions. If you made it here, you're asking start sit questions. That probably means that you're in the playoffs, and I don't want any, you know, you know, toilet bowl questions. Okay, if you're in a consolation bracket, okay, please don't waste my time. All right,
Hey, I'd
you
rather
gotta
get a
be.
toilet bowl question than a consolation bracket because in a toilet bowl, you're playing for something. You're playing to avoid that punishment. So, a consolation bracket, yeah, there's no reason. And especially if
Listen,
you're in a
man.
consolation bracket and you're picking up players off the waiver, like, what are you doing? You're
Listen,
ruining it
man.
for everybody
Honestly,
else.
if you're here listening and watching, and you're in the toilet bowl, you're in the consolation bracket. Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad you didn't. Glad you didn't give up here. Uh, big news, man. Big news. And that's Mike White.
Yeah,
No Mike White this weekend. The doctors wouldn't clear him for this game. Zach Wilson was just promoted to the number 2 spot this week, and he's going to get the start in Mike White's place. This is not ideal. This is
no.
not ideal at all. I'm moving Garrett Wilson down. I had him at wide receiver 10 this week, and I'm not gonna go completely off of him. Like, I'm only moving him down to wide receiver 16. Okay, so
Right.
that's still a solid wide receiver 2. There were 2 games with Zach Wilson before the Jets Week 10 bye where Wilson did his thing. 6 for 115. I think that was good for the wide receiver 11 finish, and then 8 for 92, which is good for the wide receiver 15 or 16 finish. So still solid wide receiver 2 numbers there. And those weren't cake matchups, against New England and Buffalo. This is a
Right.
good matchup against the Lions. Jeff Okuda is good, but he isn't a shutdown corner, right? Like, I understand, like, we want to think of this as a huge drastic situation, and it is, because the Jets offense definitely takes a hit here for sure.
Right.
But it's not like Garrett Wilson's going straight to the bench for me or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I wonder if this is going to light a fire maybe under Zach Wilson a little bit. I'm not sure. That time off, it might, maybe do a little of a bit of
Man,
cause a little bit of change.
I hope so, because as a Jets fan, this is a big game.
Yeah. No, it is. And I wonder, with Zach Wilson, like, will they be able to keep up with the Lions offense? I think their defense will help them to do that, but you have to, think you just have these terrible memories of that game against the Patriots where they put up how many yards in the second half? Was it 7? Something like that. It was a
Yeah,
really bad number. Yeah, it was just
it was bad.
horrific. So you have that in
This
your
was
mind.
the last Zach Wilson start. The week after the bye. This is the second time they played New England in New England.
Yeah, so that leaves a sour taste, and now he's coming back, and he's going to be starting this week. I think he's going to be all right, but that isn't the same offense like we said with Mike White at quarterback. He did a lot better of a job getting the ball to his playmakers than Zach Wilson had been doing. But yeah, I wouldn't move off of Garrett Wilson completely. I saw one of the first comments when we got in here, and it looks like it was just sent again. Jazz Pope wants to know, with Zach Wilson starting, do you start Garrett Wilson or should you start Christian Watson instead? I think I'd start Christian Watson here because I don't know what to expect with Garrett Wilson anymore.
It's funny because I had Christian Watson as my wide receiver 11,
Yeah.
right behind Garrett Wilson. So now Christian Watson moves into the top 10
Yep.
with this news.
Yeah. So I think
Now,
in this case, I would start Christian Watson. But yeah, I think Garrett Wilson now becomes benchable. In some cases.
in some cases, because you might have been starting him over some studs. So yeah, Garrett Wilson does become benchable at this point if you were starting him over some of your studs, because he became a stud over the
Right.
last couple of weeks. Now, despite how much I loved Elijah Moore as like this desperate upside start this week, I'm moving him down to my wide receiver 37 on the week. He still has the best matchup of any slot wide receiver this week. Remember, he moved to the slot pretty much full time now. He's a full time player now. Corey Davis is likely to be out, so he's still startable.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have a great history between Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore this year. But now that he's a full time player, now that he's in the slot rather than the outside in an amazing matchup, I'm still okay starting Elijah Moore, but not as excited, not anywhere nearly as excited as I was coming into this week, because I'm a
Yeah.
big Elijah Moore fan. But Mike White was giving me some hope that Elijah Moore could have had a huge week this week.
Yeah. And the whole offense in general, like, I wonder what the shift is going to be, maybe in the over under for the game. And obviously you don't want to say one player makes it a monumental shift, but it's a really different offense with Zach Wilson at the helm. So I think it's interesting to see how that's going to play out, because this could have been a game where, and I expect the Jets, to hold their own on defense. It's not like the Lions are going to go up by 30, but this was a game that I figured would be pretty close and competitive, with the way that these offenses work and the defenses, are also, I mean, obviously the Jets defense is very good, and Lions defense has been playing better as of late. It looked like the Jets had the advantage maybe on both sides, but now I'd say that the Lions have the advantage in terms of their defense over the Jets offense at this point. I mean, unless Zach Wilson comes out and looks, like we said, drastically different.
I'm not really moving Zonovan Knight down too much. They might lean on him even more if this game is close. The offense might take a hit in terms of scoring opportunities, but there's a potential for more volume for Knight. So not really moving him down a whole lot. Like the offense takes a hit, but more volume. So kind of net similar for me.
Yeah.
He's still my RB15, RB16-ish. I haven't decided just yet on the week because he's shown that he's a good running back. And I think the Jets are going to lean on him more this week.
Yeah. And that would make sense, especially with the quarterback situation the way that it is. And even with Mike White, being Mike White, he plays pretty well. And at this point, better than Zach Wilson. It still makes sense to involve him because Mike White is still a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of experience under center. And he's going to be dumping it off a lot, like we saw. The thing about Mike White is he doesn't try to do too much. And we see Zach Wilson do that sometimes. And when you don't try to do too much, that's what unlocks the receiving ability of the running backs. And that's why I think Zonovan Knight, he's been making some money that way. Yeah. I'm interested to see if that continues. If he's able to continue to get those targets with Zach Wilson at quarterback. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on this week.
I agree. That's definitely a concern for me. And that's part of the reason why I might, move him down a spot or two because of the fact that, I think he was 5 of 5, 3 of 3, and 2 for 2 in terms of he caught all of his targets over the last 3 weeks from Mike White. We'll see, if Zach Wilson, hopefully the coaching staff tells him, they're like, hey, listen, you have a couple good receivers, at the running back position. Dump it off if you don't have anything, right? And that's the move. Hopefully Zach can do something there. So, we'll see. It does suck, this news overall, just as a Jets fan, but also the fantasy impact of this news. It's crazy. It's crazy that the Jets were such a fantasy friendly offense, especially in this game against the Lions, and now the hopes aren't as high.
It gets turned upside down the first week of playoffs too. Like, talk about inconvenient. If you picked up Mike White and you've been starting him the past few weeks, or anybody really, Garrett Wilson, he's been playing pretty well. Like, this is a pretty big change for the first round. It could decide some matchups.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. So let's talk about last night's game quickly before we answer some questions here. Dude, it's funny, man. Like Christian McCaffrey, like we were talking about this game. And, Christian McCaffrey was literally, if you saw last night's game, Christian McCaffrey was the entire 49ers offense. Like he was,
yeah.
And that's kind of what we expected, right? Especially with Deebo Samuel out. But McCaffrey had 26 carries. He had 8 targets. If I'm not mistaken, he had all 6 of his catches, or maybe 5 of them in the first half. So he had like 7 or 8 targets
in the first half. Yeah.
5 in the first half. So like, yeah, he was killing it. So 34 total opportunities for Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason didn't see a snap until the second half, when this game was potentially a little bit, when they had a couple touchdown lead, over the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett, unfortunately, it looks like he had a decent game in this one, but unfortunately, it looks like he has a broken finger, and he could be out potentially the rest of the season, and that would suck. Hopefully, it's not too bad. Maybe hopefully he could be out just a week, but if he needs to have surgery on that finger, then it's possible that he's out for at least a couple weeks, and that would suck a lot, because he's been killing it for your fantasy teams. Does DK Metcalf get a little bit of a boost? Probably. He'll probably get a higher target share, moving forward. Maybe Marquise Goodwin can step up a little bit, but it kind of downgrades Geno, and obviously downgrades your fantasy team if you don't have Lockett moving forward.
Yeah, I figure in this situation, if Tyler Lockett were to miss time, that DK Metcalf wouldn't be the beneficiary more than Marquise Goodwin. I think Marquise Goodwin would be the beneficiary because DK Metcalf, he's been locked in for a workload with Tyler Lockett on the field. And like we said, they've been ranked right next to each other the past, I think 3 or 4 weeks for us now, because they get such a similar workload. I don't think much is going to change. DK Metcalf is not going to be drawing more top coverage, and he could beat anybody. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think Marquise Goodwin stands to benefit the most because he's going to have an increase in target share, definitely. Like DK Metcalf, he might have a similar target share. I think the number of targets is going to stay the same. Geno Smith has come back down to earth a little bit. It was a tough matchup last night. They did all right, but I think that Marquise Goodwin's the primary beneficiary there. And then with Christian McCaffrey, like you said, we said that he might have a crazy workload, and he did. And the funny thing is, look at the way they were using him early in the game when it was a competitive game. If it wasn't for the defense just smothering Seattle, and this might be a problem the rest of the way for Christian McCaffrey, if they're just going to go up in these games and stay up, they're not going to have to pound him that much. But look at the usage in the first half. I think he had 20 some points at halftime. Like, this could have been a much bigger day if the game was competitive. So there's no
100%.
reason not to have him. There's no reason not to have him ranked as RB1 the rest of the way.
Yeah, and then Jordan Mason started to come in. He had that big run. So he definitely could have had a bigger game. George Kittle, took advantage of the great matchup against Seattle. Actually came through. It's a good sign that Purdy was looking for him, and it was a great sign seeing Kittle do some stuff after the catch, something we haven't seen probably since like last year.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, if you watch the 2 touchdowns that he got, he was like wide open on both of them. The one was schemed up that way, and the other one was just a busted coverage. But on that second touchdown, the long one, he made Quandre Diggs miss, and then one of the linebackers, I forget the name, but he looked good doing it. That's what I'm saying. So it looks like Brock Purdy's looking his way. The struggle continued. Brandon Ayuk, he's riding the struggle bus because he's not getting looks from Brock Purdy, which is kind of concerning, especially with Debo out. I wouldn't really have him ranked very much higher than we had him this week the rest of the way. But George Kittle, do you think this kind of vaults him in the top 3? I mean, with the way the tight end landscape is?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You got to chalk it up to the matchup as well. This is one of the best matchups for tight ends, so, I kind of chalk it up to that as well. Brandon Ayuk also had a very tough matchup on the outside. We talked about that coming into the game, and that's what happened. We did bet the under on his yardage. That came through. 6 for 6, by the way, on last night's Underdog. 6 for 6. If you played our picks yesterday on Underdog, you probably won some money. I got a ton of DMs last night and into this morning, continuing to get DMs this morning, with just people sending me screenshots of their entries. So that's awesome. Glad you guys were able to cash in on that. Kenneth Walker, looked fine. Like, this was a tough matchup, but he looked decent. And, if you started him, like 11 PPR fantasy points, sure, fine against the 49ers. If you didn't start him, fine. Because, it's not like you lost a huge ceiling day. So either way, you're probably okay, regardless of the decision that you made. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't want to talk too much about this game. I think that we hit all of the points for tonight's game, for last night's game. Let's move on. Let's move on to some start sit questions now, and then we're gonna do some drafting in Underdog. We have We have 3 games on Saturday, so we're gonna draft the team on Underdog for Saturday, and then we're gonna do another draft for the Sunday games. So double the action today. All right.
Double the action.
Master Mac Oda, great call on Ayuk. You both saved me big time. Thank you. No problem, Master Mac. Great name. Let's get into some questions. Let's do it. Should I play? Sean is asking. Should I play Goddard over Okonkwo if he's back? This is a good question because can Goddard be on a snap count? He can be. I like Okonkwo, but if Goddard's back, I'm playing him.
Yeah, I think you have to the way the offense is moving. It's a pretty good matchup. They're playing the Bears. I think that this is pretty easy for me. I'd start Goddard, especially if you've been missing him these past few weeks. Okonkwo's good, but I think Goddard on a good offense has better touchdown upside than Okonkwo this week.
I agree. That's how I'll play it as well. Aaron, sorry,
you almost did it.
I
almost did
it. Aaron Henderson is asking Dulcich, Okonkwo, or Everett this week. I think it's close, man. This is probably these guys are back to back in my rankings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I think Everett is.
Yes, I have 8. Everett at 7, Dulcich at 8, and Okonkwo at 9.
So the straight easy answer would just be Everett, right?
Yeah, but I want to change my rankings now.
As you say, out of context, you just look at it that way. So now that, I think I'm still going Everett here. It's close though. Yeah. I mean, I like
I like Okonkwo as well without what's his name? Without
Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks in, but still, I think I'm leaning Everett in this matchup. They all have good matchups this week.
Yeah, I think Everett has a
It's
safer
close.
floor. If you want to play upside, I would go maybe Okonkwo because Everett's competing with now Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Josh Palmer. So I think
Yeah.
Okonkwo might have a better workload, but Everett's clearly on a better offense, I think. And the touchdown, I think he has a better chance to score a touchdown than Okonkwo, I think. Even though he's looked good, Okonkwo, these past few weeks. Dulcich, I'm not sure. I mean, Russell Wilson, he might play, right? So
Yeah, he
maybe,
might play.
but I don't trust the Broncos offense as much as I do the Chargers. So yeah, I would go with Everett too.
It's close. What's up, guy? Tejas is asking, "What's up, guys? I'm in round 1 this week in a bit of a pickle with 2 things. Thanks for the introduction, Tejas. Now for your question: If Ramondre is out, do I start Dobbins or Foreman in PPR? Do I start Dallas defense or Green Bay defense? Okay, so if Ramondre is out, are you going Dobbins or Foreman? I'm leaning Foreman personally.
Yeah,
What about you?
I think so. Dobbins didn't look 100%. Foreman got the
Yeah,
workload last week. He just didn't have any of the
score.
splash plays. That kind of went
Yeah,
to Chuba Hubbard. I'm not expecting that to continue. The volume is much more reliable than the production that we saw from Chuba Hubbard last week. So I would go with Foreman. I think definitely.
I think Foreman has the upside to get 20 carries in any given
Right,
week, and Dobbins
which he
doesn't.
did. Yeah, Dobbins
So
doesn't, especially with
Dobbins
Gus
doesn't.
Edwards getting healthier. Yeah, they're gonna be
It was
rotating.
it was a 50-50 split between Dobbins and Edwards last week. So
Yeah,
and you saw that long run, right? Dobbins did not look like him like
yeah,
100% at all.
no,
So yeah, I'm going Foreman here. What about Dallas defense or Green Bay? Green Bay, they're going up against the Rams this week. Dallas, they got Jacksonville. I'm still going with the better defense here, and I'm going Dallas personally.
yeah. Dallas didn't record a sack for the first time this season last week. I feel like they're going to come back with a vengeance, and that's going to score a lot of points. I wouldn't be surprised if the defense played well. They've been playing well the whole season. Green Bay is
Yeah.
tempting because they are playing the Rams, but they looked. I mean, obviously it was within the last 3 minutes. They looked half decent with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. This isn't the same offense that played the Chiefs a couple weeks ago and did absolutely nothing. I think that's tempting, but I would go with Dallas defense too. But it's close.
It is close. Let's see. User Sill, is that your name? Is asking. Mostert or Gus Edwards this week? Snow game. Jeff Wilson a little bit banged up. I think I'm going Mostert.
Yeah, I think Mostert is more locked in for that workload. I don't expect Jeff Wilson to play this week, like you said. So,
You
and
don't.
it's a snow game. They might rely on the run game a little bit more. Gus Edwards, we just talked about J.K. Dobbins, being 50-50 split, maybe not having a complete grip on the workload. I think it's the same thing for Gus Edwards. So go with the safer bet in this situation in terms of volume.
Even if Jeff Wilson
Mostert.
plays, I mean, Jeff Wilson did return to practice yesterday in a limited fashion. If he does practice today, I would think he's going to play. But at the same time, I think Mostert will be the 1A given that injury to Jeff Wilson. So
Yeah,
just go with Mostert either way, I would say. How do you feel? And I understand. Let me also bring up the fact that Gus Edwards does have a great matchup, right, against Cleveland.
yeah.
So I understand, where that's going. Hey, how about this? It's a snow game. It's going to be a messy game. I'll say this. If Jeff Wilson is off the injury report going into the weekend, I would play Gus Edwards. I would play Gus Edwards. That's how I would do with it. So if Jeff Wilson's off the injury report going into the weekend, I'll play Gus Edwards. If not, I would roll with Raheem Mostert. That's how I would play it. There you go.
So are you basing that kind of
Yeah.
on the injury report? You think he might be on a snap count, limited in some fashion? Maybe?
Yeah, potentially limited. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Raheem Mostert's like the clear 1A to me, and I'd rather
Yeah.
play the clear 1A on a decent offense. I was gonna say good offense but then I'm thinking about the Bills, and then I'm
Mhm.
thinking about what a terrible game script. What a terrible like the weather conditions this game is gonna be in, and
Mhm.
I'm like, oh man, do I really want to go
Yeah.
through that and
Like I
face a shitty defense?
like I
I'll play
said,
on a shitty offense. Yeah.
Dolphins don't belong in the snow. They're just gonna be flopping around, I think. So
Flopping around. Dolphins gonna be flopping around in Buffalo.
yeah.
But that's actually a closer question than now that I'm thinking about it more.
Mhm.
Gus Edwards is probably the safer bet, but I still lean most if Jeff Wilson's banged up. Okay,
Right.
moving on. Alvaro Marquinez asking, how do you feel about Saquon this week? Should I bench him for Zeke or Bam Knight, or is he too good to bench? Saquon practiced in full on Wednesday, which is a good sign that he's fine and he's good to go. So yeah, no,
Right.
I would not bench him for either. I think Zeke is obviously the safest bet. I would play Zeke over Bam Knight. And then the question would be between Saquon and Zeke. I think I only have these guys like 4 or 5 spots apart, so it's probably
Yeah.
closer than you think. Zeke, probably is a safer option, but Saquon
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he gets a lot of targets. He's a PPR option, better PPR option, better floor, I would say. And if he scores, he has that 20-point upside that Zeke doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty easy. We know what Saquon can be, and he actually had a pretty good game against Washington 2 weeks ago, and that's who he's playing this week. And obviously, he was limited last week with the stinger. Like we said, he's a full participant in practice. It's pretty easy for me. We know Saquon has a ceiling. The whole thing about Zeke this season is that he doesn't have that ceiling, and he's been a floor play. And if Saquon wasn't playing, then yeah, you would play Zeke. But Saquon's playing, start him. You drafted him high, I'm assuming. So I would definitely start Saquon this week, even though Zeke he might be in for a good matchup. But I'm not sure how much I want to continue to bet on him having this scoring streak.
Right.
At some point,
Right.
something's got to give. Tony Pollard, especially with him playing so well, he's due maybe for a quiet day one of these next few weeks.
Alex Sandoval has a good question here. If Higgins is limited again today, but they say he'll play, are you trusting him? The answer to that question is no. My other flex options are Donovan Peoples-Jones and either Bucks running back if Ramondre plays. If Ramondre plays, what does Ramondre playing have to do with this? I guess
Might
Ramondre would
mean
be in the
doesn't
lineup
play.
already. Okay, maybe if he doesn't play. Okay, so okay, either way, forget about Ramondre for a second. So
Yeah,
DPJ or either Bucks running back over Higgins. I would still play Higgins in this scenario personally.
yeah.
I wouldn't.
It's tough to
I wouldn't.
trust.
It's tough to trust Higgins, but it's not
Yeah,
like you have these amazing options where I would feel okay benching Higgins.
right.
Like if he's
It's
active again, I feel like Higgins. There's a better chance that Higgins is going to play a normal workload than not.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you figure that won't happen 2 weeks in a row, right? I mean, it
Figure
seems yeah, you figure, but I think I'm in agreement here. DPJ, he's not a slam dunk start just on his own, like regardless of whether you're replacing Higgins with him or not. I think he's more of a wide receiver 3 flex with some upside, but I think Higgins, if he plays, he has the upside to be a wide receiver 1 any given week, especially with
Higgins.
Tyler Boyd out.
T. Higgins is practicing in full today,
Right.
so there you
Okay,
go.
so that's good.
So now that he has
Yeah.
the full practice, a little bit more confident in him. So yes,
Yeah.
play Higgins.
Maybe they just don't put him through warm-ups next week. You know what I'm saying? They can't
Yeah,
tweak
for
anything.
sure. Jason's asking Everett or Goddard. We're going Goddard here, right?
Yeah. I think
Yep.
Goddard slides in as, a top tight end, one of the top 3, 4, 5 whenever he plays.
Tejas with another question. Are you guys trusting Andrews this week? Yeah. Like who else are you gonna trust? Kelsey? That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
at the end
it.
of the day, it looks like Tyler Huntley's gonna play. That's what it
Yeah.
seems like to me. So remember last year, Mark Andrews was an amazing tight end. That's the reason why he finished as the overall tight end 1 last year was because of Tyler Huntley. Okay, so just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Don't overthink it going into this week.
There are fond memories of that, but it should be noted, he didn't get a whole lot of targets last week with Tyler Huntley when he was in, or at least they weren't
Yes,
high quality targets. It was a rough day at the office for the Ravens offense overall, but he was a little bit quieter than I expected him to be. I had him in a couple of DFS lineups.
for sure.
Yeah.
Anderson Rodriguez is asking, hello, guys. PPR question. Olave against Falcons. Godwin against the Bengals. Watson, Judy. My other options. Please pick 2. Thank you.
How
This is
polite.
close, man. A lot of good options here. My first guy is Watson. Christian Watson's in. And then it's
Yeah.
between Olave and Godwin. And
Yeah.
I think I lean Godwin here. So I think I'm going to Watson and Godwin.
Yeah, I'm going with Godwin too. Watson
Okay.
and Godwin makes sense. Assuming Christian Watson. Yeah, so I would go with Godwin here. The thing about Olave is I want to say him, but I don't like Andy Dalton at quarterback, or really any Saints quarterback that could play. So I'm just going to leave that at that. Chris Godwin, I think, is the guy.
Appreciate the super chat, Anderson. I think it's time to do some underdog drafts. What do you think? everybody who didn't get their answer to the question, don't worry. We'll be done with these. These
Okay.
drafts literally take like 5 minutes. So like
Yeah.
we'll be back. We're gonna do this draft live, so you guys know who we like this weekend, and then we're gonna get right back into the questions. All right.
Just something
Go ahead.
quick. I came up on
Yes,
my
please.
sleeper. I don't know if this is old news, but Odell is going to join us, quote unquote. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones told USA Today Sports yesterday. Is that new?
That is new.
Like,
That is new, and we have to acknowledge it because you're a Cowboys fan, so we have to
well,
acknowledge
no,
this.
not only has he become a Cowboys fan, but this is Odell. Like, people have been stashing him. I don't know. Like,
I don't think
that's interesting.
that he's
You
gonna
don't
be.
think it's going to affect the regular season?
I don't think it's going to be affect the regular season. Yes. There's a good chance that he will, with the complete goal of getting ready for a playoff game or two, and then I'll look into the future. But most of it being about now. So it looks like Jerry Jones is saying that he's going to be good, like to join the Cowboys for the playoffs.
All right,
There
that's
you go.
interesting. Yeah,
It is interesting. But bye, T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah. What did we sign? If this was the case, what did they sign T.Y. Hilton for?
I have no
Right?
idea, dude. I have no idea. All right, let's get into some underdog stuff. Okay, so there are a couple of tournaments that Underdog is highlighting. Okay, the first one is the Gauntlet. Okay, I want to talk to you guys about the Gauntlet real quick. This is the 2022 Playoff Gauntlet. Okay, when you draft these guys, you're drafting players who are going to score the most points during the playoffs. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, we do not know who is going to be in the playoffs, but if you can draft a team right now who could potentially make the playoffs, and you can get some values based on the drafts and stuff like that. Remember, this is a draft. Okay, so players who might not make the playoffs, or who you think might get a first round bye, those players might be at a discount right now. Okay, so if you draft them right now, you might end up with a team that is just ridiculous because you got them
Yeah.
at a value. Teams like, if you draft Garrett Wilson, for example, if you don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs, Garrett Wilson, isn't like the Jets don't scream playoffs right now, but
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson might be cheap. And on top of that, there's not great vibes around him and Mike White right now, right? Because Mike White's out. So those are the type of things you can take advantage of. Second thing, there's 3 games on Saturday. There's a contest called the Saturday Skirmish, which is a $5 entry with $100,000 in prizes. Okay, so that Saturday Skirmish, $12,000 goes to first place, and $100,000 total to distribute to a lot of the top winners in that contest. And then the Battle Royale, which goes on every single week for week 15. There's 10 games in that slate. $5 entry, $200,000 in prizes, with $20,000 going to first place. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first we're going to hit the Saturday Skirmish. We're going to enter that right now.
Right.
$5. Let's get it popping.
These are actually very fun, when you think about it, especially if you're out of the playoffs and you want something to, do in these last few weeks. They're actually very fun to play. And it's pretty easy to win. You only have to be in like the top 30%, to win some money. So it's actually pretty good.
It really is. This draft is about to start soon. So there are 4 teams. There's going to be 4 teams in this draft. And then you kind of, we're basically picking at the second spot here. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's think about this for a second here. Okay. Let's see. Let's think about this for a second. So who would you want? Like, looking at the screen here, who do you want at number 1? If who is your ideal guy to drop to you here? Justin Jefferson,
Yeah.
Josh Allen? It's not Josh Allen for me
No.
in this game, right? Probably Jefferson. So let's say Jefferson gets taken off the board here. Like, I don't know if I want Diggs. I don't know if I want Tyreek.
No.
Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Mark Andrews, Jalen Waddle. Like, this is an interesting slate because there's only 3 games, right? So
Right.
who are we going? So Jefferson went off the board. Who has the highest ceiling out of these guys? Like, should we go Taylor? Should we go Josh Allen? Like, those are the 2 guys that I'm looking at here.
Like, yeah, Chubb's been quiet, but you wonder, do you think he could have a good game? Like, how do you want to do this? Do you want to get a stack of some sort? Because that seems
I
to
don't
be
think so.
the best way to go about it.
Maybe we can go with like a Matt Ryan. I'm going Jonathan Taylor here because we only have 4 seconds to pick. Jonathan Taylor, he's in a good matchup, right, against the Vikings. I think Matt Ryan's going to be able to move the ball there. Josh Allen just got taken at the 3rd pick, but if the snow game happens like how we think it's going to happen, Josh Allen might have a down game. right?
Right.
So maybe taking him at the second pick might not have been the best move, right? So that's why I'm going Jonathan Taylor here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that makes
I
sense.
think
And
so.
this is actually there's a lot at play, with these 3 games because of that snow game. It pretty much nullifies a lot of upside for these players.
Definitely. Now, so we're starting one quarterback, one running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. Okay. Dalvin Cook is available here. Mark Andrews is available. Those are the best guys available right now. TJ Hawkinson, Michael Pittman, I love. You think we can get Michael Pittman coming around? Yeah, we can. We
Yeah.
can.
I think we could.
Are we going Dalvin or Andrews here? 5 seconds.
I'll go with Dalvin. I think that'll
Let's
be our
do it.
second flex, right?
Yes, that's going to be our flex.
Our flex, yes.
That's going to be our flex. Now, Mark Andrews just got taken right after us.
Right.
I really like Michael Pittman. Can we just
Yeah.
do it now?
Let's just do it.
Michael Pittman as our wide receiver 1 this week. So we're starting. How many wide receivers we're starting? 2 wide receivers. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got our running back. We got our flex. We got one of our wide receivers. We need one more wide receiver, 1 quarterback, and 1 tight end.
Let's see. Who's
That's what
still
we
on the
need.
board? We need a tight end, you said?
Yes. So Hawkinson's still on the board. He's our probably
Yeah.
Njoku. I'm good with Njoku too.
Njoku would be good. Do you think we could scoop him up late? Or do you think he's gonna
I
go?
don't think so, dude. Like he's right here, not too far off. So I'm thinking maybe we do like a stack with Kirk and no, TJ Hawkinson just got off the board. So out of the quarterbacks that are on the board, we kind of need to go Kirk, don't we?
Yeah, I think he's in the best matchup. I mean, you don't
It's
want to
either
go.
Kirk or Njoku right now.
Yeah, is Tyler Huntley on the board?
Tyler Huntley is on the board.
I
He
don't know.
might have a little bit of upside. So it's
I'm
either
not
we
sure.
go Njoku.
He's not the thing about Tyler Huntley. No one's drafting like a Ravens pass catcher besides Mark Andrews, so that would minimize the damage his passing touchdowns might do. If you think about it competitively, nobody else is going to be scoring points if Tyler Huntley's throwing the ball in unless they have Mark Andrews.
That's true. I just took Njoku because we were running out of time.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we have Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Michael Pittman, David Njoku. Raheem Mostert was just taken off the board. Nice little contrarian pick there. We're 1 off the board. If we have Kirk Cousins here, we're taking him.
Yeah, okay. That's true. I feel like
Kirk is on the board here.
All right,
Kirk is on the board. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. I mean, he's our best option right now. We have 1 more pick left. So we need what do we need? Another wide receiver?
Yes, I think so.
Are we going with the stack with Faraz Campbell? I think we are, dude. I think we are. We're going. Obviously, we couldn't get Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Matt taking Matt Ryan, honestly, probably would have been the move.
Yeah, it could have been.
Just to get
Is he still
stack.
on the board?
He is still on the board, but it's all right. We got Kirk here. And I think this is our last pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is our last pick.
Yes.
So we need a wide receiver. So we're gonna go with we got all the Colts. We got Michael Pittman.
Hey,
oh, dude,
it's not that bad to have a bunch of players from the same team because we saw what won it pretty much for a lot of teams last week was the Eagles. People stacked up Jalen Hurts, people stacked up AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and it worked out pretty well for them. So
all right,
don't be afraid
right now.
Yeah,
we got Kirk. Our team is Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor and Dalvin Cook, Michael Pittman and Faraz Campbell, and then David Njoku. Not bad.
No.
The Matt Ryan. I like this team. I feel like a Matt Ryan stack would have been dope. I feel like that's the way we should have played.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
But we were looking at Kirk. You look at Kirk Cousins, like he's liable to have a good day too. But Matt Ryan against the Vikings pass defense, maybe we missed.
Well, you know what?
This
is the good thing. Kirk Cousins is going up against Indy.
Yeah.
Right. So since he's going up against Indy, like if Matt Ryan's going to put up points, maybe on the other side of the ball, if this turns into a little bit of a shootout, Kirk Cousins can as well. So maybe we know. Maybe we look at it that way. All right, let's join the Battle Royale now. This is a $5 entry. This is a little bit of a longer draft. It takes all of 5 minutes. $200,000 prize pool. And how much?
25,000 in the first place. 25.
Oh my goodness!
And isn't it 12-5 to second? So it's like 2 very good prizes right there. So you're gonna be happy with.
That's legit. 100%. All right. So yeah, by the way, like if you're listening to this, like we're streaming this live on YouTube, you can always catch it. So we're waiting on 2 more people in this draft. This is a 6-person draft. Waiting for 1 more. But in the meantime, why don't we hit up a question or 2?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The Drum Master 1 is asking standard league pick 2, Godwin, Mike Williams, DPJ, or Chark. This is easy for me. Godwin and Mike Williams.
You think Godwin? I don't know. That seems funny to me, but he's been more of a PPR producer recently. I mean, his yardage
who you
totals.
playing over? You playing DPJ over him?
He has gotten a lot of yards. I mean, he doesn't catch a whole lot of balls, but he does get high yardage. I'm not sure. It's a little bit closer. It sounds funny, but I don't play a whole lot of standard. I think Mike Williams is definitely one of the guys, but I'm saying I don't want to overvalue Godwin because he could easily go 7 or 8 catches for 50 yards, which doesn't do a whole lot for you. Where DPJ, he catches some long balls. I think the safe pick would be Chris Godwin, but I'm tempted to pick DPJ.
Man, that's crazy. No, I'm good. Like Cincinnati's given up the 9th most fantasy points to slot wide receivers over the last 4 weeks. So I'm gonna go with Chris Godwin on that one. I ain't benching Godwin for DPJ. Not me. Can't do it.
Right. How long till this draft starts?
It didn't start yet, so let's go ahead. Let's take another question. Start Taysom Hill or risk starting Goddard if he's available to play. I mean, starting Taysom Hill himself is a risk, so just play Goddard.
Yeah, I don't think it's much of a risk to start Goddard. Like, I'm pretty sure he's playing this week, right? I don't think there's
playing,
anything that
but the only risk is him playing limited snaps. That is a concern. Okay, we're on the board. Kelsey, Chase, Hurts, Henry off the board here. Who's on the board? Eckler, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Patrick Mahomes, CeeDee Lamb, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard.
Do you go Devontae Adams?
I think we go Devontae Adams here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get Eckler against Tennessee.
Right.
I'm with you on that one. Let's go Adams there. Oh, shit. We're in a draft with Pete Overzet. That's awesome. Pete Overzet went Eckler and then Mahomes. And then we're going to come back and who are we going to take here? Are we taking Tony Pollard? Taking Josh Jacobs?
Oh, wait. I mean, Tony Pollard's really tempting.
I'm taking Pollard.
I think you have to do Pollard, dude.
I'll take Pollard here. They're going up against Jacksonville. One of those situations where if Dallas can go up big on them, the Patriots, their run defense is relatively solid. Jacobs hasn't really had an issue dealing with any sort of defense lately. But this is a little bit of a tougher matchup for him. So that's why I think Pollard has more upside than Jacobs this week. Even though if I had the choice in a real life scenario, if I in redraft leagues, I would probably just start Jacobs over Pollard. But in this type of scenario, for the upside, I'm going Pollard.
That's true. Yeah, and while we're here, I know we're in between picks right now, but it says a sleeper alert that Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett is expected to have surgery to repair and stabilize fractured finger, and it's possible he only misses 1 game. So that's pretty cool. That would be pretty good.
Great. If that's the case. Hey, Amon-Ra still on the board, and we're 2 picks away. We're definitely taking him, right?
Yeah, I feel like you have to.
Please.
The matchup.
Yes. The matchup isn't amazing, but
no,
still.
It's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
The upside is ridiculous. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dog. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Dog. Underdog.
Underdog. And Amon-Ra got that dog in him, right?
Yeah.
We got Tony Pollard, Devontae Adams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as our running back and 3 wide receivers, and 2 wide receivers. So 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, and 1 tight end. That's how we have to roll.
I think it's the same roster settings as the last one, right?
It is, yeah. We're going Keenan Allen here?
Keenan Allen or Joe Burrow? I don't know. Is Joe Burrow on the board?
Joe Burrow is on the board here against Tampa.
I guess you don't want to reach. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
I think I'm going Keenan Allen, dude.
Yeah, do it.
I think I'm going Keenan Allen against Tennessee. I'm doing it. Okay, so we got our 3 wide receivers. How many wide receivers do we have to start?
2 wide receivers and a flex. So that covers
so that means
3 spots.
We covered 3 spots. So
quarterback and tight end.
Quarterback and tight end. There we go. All right, so the quarterback's available. Justin Fields, please make it back.
Oh, man. How is he there?
So everybody has a quarterback except Richie. So if Richie doesn't take a quarterback, he just
there he goes.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Well,
okay.
That was fun.
We need a tight end. Do we need another running back?
No. You only need 1 running back.
Okay. So Tony Pollard's our running back this week. Okay. So we need a tight end
and a quarterback.
And we need a quarterback. So who's available? So we got Dak, Trevor, Jared Goff, Tom Brady, Derek Carr. Man, I don't
Do you
know about any of
stack
those.
Derek Carr and Devontae Adams?
I think so.
If you have
At
Tony
tight
Pollard
end,
on your team, you don't take Dak, right?
I think we can get some value at tight end here. There's a bunch of tight ends available.
Yeah.
I think we got to just maybe we stack Derek Carr because this is not a matchup that he's supposed to do good in.
Yeah,
So we
that's
just
true.
we take Derek Carr and then he's going to do well, right?
We're taking Derek Carr as like the chief Derek Carr haters.
we
What are we
just
doing?
put Derek Carr over DeAndre Hopkins, and well, we didn't need it. We didn't need him anyway, but still,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. I love it. See, this is a true contrarian lineup here.
Yeah, this is just how it works. It's a different game playing daily versus season long. So
Definitely is. So Evan Ingram, Cole Kmet, Okonkwo, Gerald
Oh.
Everett, Dulcich, Goddard. Are we just gonna go Goddard? Let's go for the
you
upside.
could, but does Cole Kmet call out your name at all? Like with Justin Fields back?
Against Philly? Against Philly? I don't know, man. Not against Philly. Not for me.
All right.
I'm going. Let's go Goddard, dude. Like Goddard or Okonkwo would be like the two upside options for me.
Yeah, I guess you play Goddard. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Why not?
Let's go Goddard.
We'll see how he does.
Okay. Boom. Derek Carr, Tony Pollard, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen, Dallas Goddard. That's not bad, dude.
No,
that's not bad. I mean, obviously, you were shooting for the moon here, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like this is a solid lineup. We just need Derek Carr to put up a couple touchdowns. That's what we need.
Yeah. Why do I feel great about that stack? I'm not a Derek Carr guy.
I like it too because I hate Derek Carr. So this is extremely contrarian. That's what we want. All right, perfect, guys. So yeah, you can join that $5 entry. That's all it takes. That was fun. You can see how much fun that we just had. If you can see it on our faces here.
Yeah. Look at these smiles.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to. By the way, if you do sign up for Underdog, make sure you use the code Upper Hand because you will get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Okay, use code Upper Hand when you do that. All right.
Right.
By the way, I'm also going to have a bunch of Underdog picks today for tomorrow's slate, 3-game slate for the pick'ems. The ones that we got 6 out of 6 yesterday, I'm going to be putting up those today, and I'll be putting up another one tomorrow for the Sunday slate. Sound good? Let's move on.
Yeah.
Bixico is asking, I have Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, but what about playing Matt Ryan with Paris Campbell or Tannehill?
There's a lot going on there.
a lot going on here, Bixico. I will decipher your question. Basically, which quarterback to start? Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, or Tannehill? I think I lean Trevor Lawrence here. What about you?
Yeah. Even though it's a tough matchup against Dallas, they've been playing better. Trevor Lawrence has been playing better.
Who are you leaning towards behind Lawrence?
I would have to go, dare I say, Matt Ryan? Because of the matchup against Minnesota?
I don't think that's too bad, dude.
Yeah, I don't think that's too far-fetched. The thing about Deshaun Watson is I still don't know what his upside is. Because even though he had a decent game last week, like I'm not sure. Maybe that's his ceiling for this season. I don't know. I don't think he's going to turn around and just suddenly look like prime 2019 Deshaun Watson.
And it's not the most amazing matchup in the world, right? Against the Ravens this week.
Yeah. So I think it will go Trevor Lawrence, like you said, and then Matt Ryan. I think that might be a little bit closer than, at first look.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
I lean Lawrence
a good matchup.
Hair.
Yeah. Just I like
he's just playing very well right now.
Yeah. He's playing much better than Matt Ryan is right now. Even though Matt Ryan, he should be fine against the Vikings defense.
Roy Cease is asking Fournette, Foreman, Dobbins, or AJ Dillon for a running back spot. I need upside play. Excuse me. I need an upside play after playing Walker and Ayuk last night. I think the upside play is probably Foreman.
Yeah, that's really the only one I like for upside of this bunch. Like Fournette, we talked about the Buccaneers running backs. They're good for 10 points each week. Dobbins, he's going to be splitting snaps with Gus Edwards, and AJ Dillon, and he hasn't been doing a whole lot this season at all. So he's not really in consideration for me over Foreman.
I agree. Rock out. Appreciate the super badge. So PPR, not super badge. Super chat. Sorry. PPR, 1 running back, 2 flex. Swift, Brian Robinson, Pacheco, Zay Jones, and Chris Moore.
Yeah.
Nice.
Seymour what?
I would say that I was looking for another message, a follow-up message. I'm going with the 3 running backs here, man. I'm going Swift, Brian Robinson, and Pacheco.
Yeah, same thing for me. I agree because I think if you put Swift in, you have the balance. Swift and Brian Robinson offers you the balance of floor and upside. Obviously, Swift being the upside, Robinson being the floor, and then Pacheco, he's just been good for that early down roll, like we said. He's been producing. They've been using him in the run game he's the guy in the run game. No reason to worry about him each week.
Yeah, and Zay Jones might be fine. Like the matchup's okay.
Yeah.
It's not amazing like it was last week.
Right.
Ben is asking, Ben Fosnacht is asking Kamara. I don't know why I said it like that. Kamara, McLaurin, or Christian Watson this week. Pretty easily Christian Watson for me.
Yeah, that one's really easy for me too. Even though Terry McLaurin's been playing better, the upside is sky high with Christian Watson, where Terry McLaurin's more of just a sure thing.
Jordan Chavez, how do you guys feel about Rex Burkhead or just the Houston running back situation in general? Just avoid.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of that backfield.
And it might not even be Rex Burkhead. It could be Dario Okunbowale, right?
Yep.
I was gonna say
Benjamin got carries, right? They picked him up.
He just got cut. He
Did
got cut. Yeah, and you know why he got cut?
I didn't even see that.
The report just came out that he got cut because of his bad attitude.
Man.
Yeah. So that must have been why he was cut. He was cut from the Cardinals too.
Yeah.
It's possible. Because that was weird, right?
Yeah, that one came out of the blue. When the Cardinals won.
Where did he go? Did he go straight from the Cardinals to Texans, or did he make a stop in Denver? Or
no, he didn't stop in Denver.
Am I mixing two things up? I'm mixing two things up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Yeah. They're both Dolphins running backs at some point. Yeah, it makes sense.
Arizona running backs.
Arizona.
So that's
oh, yeah, Chase Edmonds. Yeah, that's right. Got it.
It's funny because like these guys getting cut when other running backs are getting hurt. You know,
yeah,
that's how much they don't want him. That's funny. All right, Saints or Packers defense this week. It's a good question. I don't know what Desmond Ridder's going to look like, but
right.
if any defense is going to score points, I feel like it's going to be the Saints.
I'm leaning towards the Saints, even though the matchup is pretty good for the Packers defense. You know,
the Saints at home.
The Saints are at home.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm going Saints.
Yeah, we saw they had the Buccaneers down. They had the Buccaneers at 3 points with 3 minutes left the last time they played. So this is a good defense. You know,
I would say, yeah, that's where I lean as well. Let's see. Master Mac Oda is asking if Ramondre is out, which he most likely will be. Do I flex ETN, Jameson Williams, or Gerald Everett? I'm gonna go ETN here.
Yep. I think it's pretty easy on this one. Yeah,
I totally get it that he hasn't been doing his thing, but he's capable of putting it up. He still has the role. Nothing changed there. Had a tough matchup last week. Yeah. I wouldn't overthink it.
Neither Everett or Jameson Williams are going to have a role like ETN's going to have. And if you can put that in your flex, like the floor is solid enough. And he has upside. We've seen Travis Etienne do very well.
Cole DePatry is asking, pick 2 into PPR. Damian Harris, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, or Jerry Jeudy. That's close, man. I think I lean Jeudy and Montgomery this week in PPR.
Yeah, I think so. Because Damian Harris, I think he's going to be exclusively used on the ground. We talked about this a lot, this week with Stevenson being, iffy. We're not sure if he's going to play. But Dave Montgomery, like we know what he's locked in for in terms of his workload. And Jerry Jeudy, looks like Russell Wilson might play. So I'm okay with that. I think that's a good pick.
Michael Torrey is asking, desperate play in a PPR. Chris Moore, Hodgins and the Giants, Dotson, Shark, or Skoranek. The answer would normally be Shark here, but they're playing the Jets, so I'm actually avoiding him. Right. Chris Moore, if Brandon Cooks is out, which I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to be out. He practiced on a limited basis the last couple of days. He was back in practice yesterday, so he might not be out. If he's out, I'm going Chris Moore. I think I'm going Dotson here, dude. Like Hodgins scored. I think he scored. Did he score a touchdown in 2 straight games? I think he did.
Yeah, he scored last week for sure. The thing is, he's not really scoring. He's not really scoring in a competitive context. They were coming back from way down and they were just chucking the ball up. I'm not trusting the Giants offense to be scoring enough touchdowns for him to be relevant each week. They've been down in the last couple games that they've played. Even though
Skoranek was Baker's number 1 target.
That's what I was going to say. Skoranek is intriguing to me as an option. I think I would go with Dotson just because it looked like, like you said, he looked healthier and he was getting some more targets than he has been recently. 2 weeks ago. But Skoranek, I wouldn't be afraid to play him. I think that he could have a decent enough workload. Like if it's a desperate play PPR, he could get it done for you.
I love these deep questions. Like these are great. I think I'm going to go Hodgins here. That's where I'm
That's
leaning because
interesting. All right, so
the
you,
Giants have. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm going. I agree with you when you said Dotson. My
I
bad.
was gonna say you said
I'm
Dotson
confusing
to
it because
start.
they're playing they're playing each other. So like I
Yes.
got confused.
Yeah.
But the Giants are a little bit banged up, in their secondary. So and that's part of the reason why Dotson was able to do his thing. Like he might see a lot of Nick McLeod this week on the
Yeah.
outside, which is a massive advantage for Dotson. So final answer, Dobson.
Right.
Dotson, not
I think
Dobson.
we go with
Dotson.
Dotson. Scrawnic, intriguing, but I think I
Wasn't there
still
a
put Dotson over.
Wasn't there a Dobson on the Commanders before? There was, right?
A Dobson. I don't remember a Dobson.
I think there was a Dobson. Keep guys in the comments, please. I think there was a
Yeah.
Dobson on the Commanders. Okay, Jason, with Higgins' hammy issues, should we play him or Pickens? Higgins full practice today. Play Higgins.
I say Higgins with a tight hammy would be better than Pickens right now.
I
That's
agree.
just me.
I agree. Give me one hamstring
Yeah.
from Higgins and I'll be fine. Jason M is also asking Komet or Ingram.
This is
I
like
like Komet, but I'm going to Ingram this week because of the really tough matchup against Philly. Philly hasn't let anything up against tight ends this year. So I'm going to go Ingram personally.
neither of them have a good matchup. And I guess, yeah, in this situation, I'll take Ingram coming off that big performance. Maybe he has something close to that, Maybe they unlocked Evan Ingram. We'll see.
Wait, who do I have? For some reason, I was thinking about Everett when I answered that question just now. I have Komet at 11 and Ingram at 12. So I'm going Komet.
Okay. That was a flippity flop.
No, yeah, flippity flop by Faraz.
I thought
Faraz is
maybe
flippity flops.
I thought maybe I would go with Komet in this situation, but Ingram, like you said, they're playing against Philly. The Bears are, so maybe Ingram has a little bit more upside. We'll see.
I only have one. I only had one cup of coffee this morning, so I'm thinking for some reason when he said Ingram, I'm thinking Everett. I don't know why.
The lines are
but yeah,
blurring. We can't see.
lines are blurring here. Aaron Henderson, Huntley, or T-Law? I'm going T-Law over Tyler Huntley this week, even with a tough matchup. Dallas Cervantes is asking Evan Ingram, Dallas Goddard, or David Njoku. I think Njoku is probably the safest out of all these guys, but I'm playing Goddard
for the upside. Right.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Thank you. Steve starts at Goddard or Njoku. Same question. Playing Njoku for safety and playing Goddard for more upside. Ryan is asking Dalton Schultz or Goddard. This one's closer to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going Schultz here.
Yeah, Schultz is a sure thing. I think Goddard.
Yeah,
you have the upside. Schultz is a sure thing. I think I would go with Schultz.
Yeah, I think so. Pedro, pick one. Pacheco, Watson, Judy, Swift. I'm going Watson here, pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm going Watson too. That one's easy.
Alex Yakabu, half PPR. Pick one. Dulcich, Okonkwo, and a lot of tight end questions. Jesus.
Yeah.
Dulcich, Okonkwo, Ingram. I'm going Okonkwo.
Yeah, I like Okonkwo in this. In of those guys there.
We answered these. Where am I going? Fields or Herbert from Jason M. This is close. Yeah. Really close. I think Herbert has all of his weapons back.
Yeah.
Has a good matchup.
Normally I would
Herbert.
Normally I would say Fields, but the matchup against Philly has me thinking, I don't think Philly lets up a 50-yard rushing touchdown to Fields. And he's come back down to earth a little bit. Like we said, he didn't get the rushing workload that he had following that shoulder injury. And Herbert, like you said, has all of his weapons back. So all the signs are pointing towards Herbert being a better play this week. I could see Fields kind of being a dud this week.
I do have Herbert at 3 and Fields at 4. So I did have Herbert ranked above Fields already.
Right.
So there you go. R. Avila is asking Garrett Wilson, Slayton, Pittman, Waddle. Pick 2. I'm going with Garrett Wilson and Pittman.
Yeah, that's what I think I would go with too. I would tempted to say Waddle, but obviously it's no game. I don't think the upside's there at all. So
there you go. Who are you going here? Hollywood, Dobbins, or Swift? Pick 2.
I would have to go with. I'm going to shoot for the upside with Swift, and I'm going to start Hollywood. I'm going to leave Dobbins on the bench, I think, this week.
I agree. I'm with you on that one. Hollywood and Swift for me. Gooner Boy is asking, with Tua's recent struggles and tough matchups ahead, I have him and Watson. Would I be crazy to drop Tua and pair Watson with Goff or Trevor Lawrence? I have a first-round bye. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's basically saying like, would you rather have Tua? Would you rather have Watson
Rest of the
the rest
season.
of the
Yeah.
way? Right.
Let's see. So let's look at the Tua's matchups just quick these next few
Exactly.
weeks.
So he
So
has.
he has
So
Buffalo in the
go ahead.
snow this weekend. And then next week he has Green Bay, but that's at home. And then they go back on the road.
The matchup is fine. The Green Bay matchup is fine.
Yeah. They go back on the road week 17 against New England. And then week 18
a little bit
we're
of a tougher
leaving.
matchup.
Week 18 we're leaving out, right? Because
Yeah, who
that's
cares?
not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then Watson has New Orleans week 16, and then he's in Washington week 17. So no matchups that are like just glaringly like amazing for either.
right. Golf
I
or
think
Trevor Lawrence. What
but
does golf
I
schedule
think
look like? Sorry, go ahead.
I'd rather pair Goff and Trevor Lawrence if I had those options. Does that make sense? Like I'd rather have those two quarterbacks the rest of the season and be able to flip flop with matchups than Tua and Watson. Because
that's fair. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because like if you look at Goff's schedule, obviously he has a tough matchup this week against the Jets, but he has Carolina and Chicago the next 2 weeks, which is two matchups that he could do well in, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Lawrence's who's looking good lately.
Lawrence does
Dallas
get the
this week,
Jets next week.
Jets, so tough matchup with Trevor Lawrence the rest of
Yeah.
the way, I would say. So this is interesting, man. Great question. So looking at it again, I think maybe Tua and Goff would be the two quarterbacks that I keep here.
That's what I'm looking at too. If you go strictly almost based off of the matchups, that's really all that's separating these guys. Yeah, I'd go with Goff and Tua. Watson, I'm not sure.
He has the first round bye, right?
Right.
And he's going into week 16. And in week 16, like I'm perfectly, fine playing Tua against Green Bay at home.
Yeah. I think, yeah, Goff too. Like you said, you avoid this matchup against the Jets and then go rushing into the playoffs, your first round in contention against the Panthers. That's good. And Trevor Lawrence,
Agreed.
He has in week 17 too, Houston, who has not been friendly to quarterbacks either. So I think that's pretty easy.
There you go. I hope that helps, Gunnar. And let's add to another one of his questions. He needs to start two out of these guys: Brian Robinson, Swift, Olave, Rashad White. He has a bunch of crazy ass rules with these points, but not going to read all that. Too long, didn't read. Brian Robinson, Swift, Olave, Rashad White. Pick two, half point PPR, pretty much. First down, full PPR. Sorry, full PPR. Brian Robinson, Swift, Olave, Rashad White. Ah, man, this is close. I think I lean Olave and Brian Robinson.
Yeah, Brian Robinson's my clear pick. I think
He
for
also
one,
has a half point per first down and half point per carry.
That's what's making me say Robinson. I think he's an easy pick. I mean, he's a short yardage machine. If he's getting first downs and carries, I could see him going 18, 20 carries with like 6 or 7 first downs. Like, that's going to be a bunch of points for you right there.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I would go with.
Turned out we did read your stupid rules. Joseph Omana is asking, would I be wrong to start someone like Cade Otton over Freiermuth? His injury mixed with his low snap share is scaring me. I get it, man, but I'm still starting Freiermuth over Otton personally.
Right.
Aaron Jones or Christian Watson? I'm gonna go Christian Watson there. Pedro.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers or Tyler Huntley? Dude, I'm liking Aaron Rodgers this week. He got Romeo Doubs back too. Good matchup against the Rams on Monday night at home. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big day. I'm going to make a little bold prediction here. I think Aaron Rodgers finishes top 5 in the week.
Oh boy. We're going to have to come back to this on Monday.
We will.
We'll see how it goes. I think. Oh no, it's Monday night. Tuesday. We got a little while. But look at this. You made him say sorry for calling his rule stupid. Like, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry, Gunnar boy. I'm so sorry, Gunnar. My bad. I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Let's see. Connor's asking Montgomery, Pacheco, Knight, pick 2 in standard. This is close.
Yeah. I think I have mine.
Go for it. Let me hear it.
I have Montgomery and Pacheco. I think Knight makes a lot of his money, in the receiving game. I'm not sure if he's going to get that either way, regardless. So I think Montgomery and Pacheco, they're both going to be early down running backs. Whereas Donovan Knight, he's early down, but he also gets a little bit of work, in the passing game. I'm going to go with Montgomery and Pacheco here. Who's it between for you?
I'm going to go Pacheco and Knight.
All right. So was it
That's where I
between
lean.
Knight and Montgomery for you? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I like Pacheco this week on the ground against Houston, and Montgomery and Knight. If I had to choose who has more all-purpose yards, I would say Montgomery between him and
Yeah.
Knight. But if I had to choose who has a higher chance of scoring a touchdown, I still think it's the Jets. I still think it's Knight.
That's fair. That is important. I'm thinking,
That's why
you see
I lean
standard, the
that way.
yardage just goes off in my head. I
Agreed,
think
agreed. And I think the
Dave
yardage
Montgomery.
play, if I had to choose between those two, I think Montgomery does. Matter of fact, I think Montgomery has the highest yardage total out of all these guys.
Yeah, right.
All three. But I think the highest chance of scoring a touchdown is him. Aaron Dobson, I don't think that's him, dude. Aaron, I don't think it was him. Just because your name is Aaron doesn't mean the guy's name was Aaron Dobson.
Well, you said that Aaron Dobson was on the Commanders.
No, I didn't say. Did I say Aaron Dobson? I said there wasn't a Dobson on the Mike Dobson. It wasn't Mike Dobson either. Aaron.
No. I think our producer put something in the chat. Yeah, Aaron Dobson played for the Patriots, Lions, and Cardinals.
Who was the guy, man? I'm thinking about the Commanders. I think it was a wide receiver. Am I messing this up? I think I'm messing this up. It was a wide receiver, second round wide receiver, something like that, who failed to do anything on the Commanders.
Oh man, no, I'm trying to think.
Do you know who I'm
I've
talking
heard
about?
I've heard of a Dodson.
Dodson. I think it was Dodson. Was it
Yeah,
Dodson?
I don't think it was Dobson. I've heard of a Dodson, but I've never heard of a Dobson. Let me see if we have a Dodson anywhere.
Dobson, wide receiver.
No, Dodson is a linebacker for the Bills right now.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm going crazy today. All right. We only got one more question, and then we're going to call it. Connor's asking Swift or Zonovan Knight?
This one's easy. Knight. Yeah.
Go Zonovan Knight there. And that'll do it, guys. Good luck this week. Big week 15. Hopefully you guys can make it to week 16. If you got a first round bye, good for you. Must be nice. But we'll see you guys on Monday. I'll be going live on Sunday before the game start. So we'll see you there, and we'll answer some last minute start sit questions. But with anything changing between now and then. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see you. For me, Zach, Mike, our producer, have a great weekend. See you later. Bye-bye.